Okay, y'all. So welcome to another episode of Kitchen Chronicles. Okay, we gonna talk in this kitchen tonight about Tom Homan. I'm gonna play a video for y'all where Tom Homan, our new border czar, is talking about his plans to implement as soon as they get into office on the 20th. What him and Trump are planning to implement. Now, one of these things that I am really happy about, y'all, is that they said they're gonna have a hotline. Right now, he said maybe, but I think he just don't want to. He don't want to tell everybody what you're doing when you about to go get your ops. You don't tell them all your plans. You don't do that shit online. I mean, some of y'all do, but that's stupid as hell. You should keep your plan to yourself. So I feel, he trying to get him maybe in them signals. But I hear you, Tom. I hear you loud and clear, bruh. And I already told y'all I was joking, but I'm happy as hell that they really gonna have a hotline. Like, I ain't really think I didn't think they was gonna have a hotline, okay? But I am ecstatic about the fact that there's a hotline, and I want y'all to know that I am gonna call that hotline several times a week. If I see some little mini immigrants on the playground, I'm calling on your ass. Do not let me see you on a construction site, walking down the street, at the bus stop. I'm calling. Like, never in my life, all I done lived, I ain't never got on the phone on no snitch line and called on nobody, but I am about to call on all of y'all, okay? The next thing that I wanted to say was, one thing he's going to bring up that I just want to say before we get into this video, when it comes to some common sense, it amazes me how all the immigrants come into this country and they talk about the great American dream, but yet still they don't want to abide by any of the American rules. Now, I am so sick of hearing y'all talk about, for those of y'all that feel sorry for them, and then the immigrants who want to have this conversation, but why y'all keep talking about people want to separate families and break up children from their parents? Like, let's just let this sink in for a moment. You do know that crossing the border illegally is a crime. You want me to spell it for you? CRIME. It is a crime. It is illegal. Like your status in this country, motherfucker. And so nowhere in America do adults commit crimes and then their children go to jail with them. Or do they not let us go to jail because we have a kid? Let me rob a bank. Let me have a DUI. Let me be driving without no insurance or a driver's license. If they pull me over and I got my kids in the car, guess what? I'm going to jail. They're not going to let me go home because I have my kids with me. And what they're not going to do is take my kids to jail with me. That's how this works. I'm sure that's how this works in everybody's damn country, right? So I don't understand why immigrants think that that's supposed to work any different for them. If you get caught coming over here illegally, yeah, your ass going to jail, and we're not going to put the kids in jail. The next thing is that as he sends y'all home, quit talking about he trying to break up people's families, because if you came over here and you pushed your little immigrant niglet out in this country, and so because you have a baby, a darker baby, right, and you think that just because your child was born on this soil, that is an excuse to say, oh my God, well, my children are American, they're going to stay, but you're sending me back. You are separating my family. No, bitch. If your child needs to go with you, your child needs to go with you. Y'all sit here and let them stay in this country. That is actually your decision if you do that. And then if your child ends up in some type of protective services or wherever the fuck kids go, and then your kid gonna end up coming up missing. Y'all keep talking about this American dream. It baffles me how you don't understand all of the nightmare that America can be. So when your child come up missing, thinking your child gonna be here in some facility being watched, and then next day they own some billionaire perverted island, what I'm saying, in a documentary a couple years from now, don't wonder why we tried to warn your ass. But what kind of parent leave your child? If you have to go home, get your kid and go home. Nobody is separating children. Stop using that as an excuse. If you get sent back because you're not an American, you're not supposed to be here. Just because your child was born here, if you decide to leave them here, that is the decision you have made as a parent. And I would say, what kind of trifling ass parent are you that you would leave your child? Stop trying to blame that on the government. Stop trying to blame that on Trump and Tom Homan. If you abandon your child, you have abandoned your child. That has nothing to do with them separating families. Take your damn kids with you. And with that said, y'all, let's check out all of the things that Tom Homan had to say about what they're going to implement as soon as he get in office.
When do you need that money in order for this to be effective? The sooner we get the money, the more effective we're going to be. But because there's limited money right now, doesn't mean we're not going to start day one. We'll deal with it as we, We're going to start day one. The president's going to take steps to secure the border day one. We're going to start the national operation day one.
What are some of those steps on day one?
As far as, look, I'm not going to get ahead of the president on this. He's going to be announcing some things on day one. And going to be things you've seen in the past, and there's going to be some new things.
Are we talking about re-implementing Title 42?
I'm not going to comment. I'm not going to get ahead of the president on that.
Should we expect workplace raids?
Yes. I wouldn't call it a raid. They're based on investigation. But why do I say that? Number one reason, where do we find most victims of forced labor? Worksite operations. The Biden administration said they're concerned about trafficking, to include forced labor trafficking, but they stopped worksite enforcement operations. 3.5 decades, that's where we find a lot of victims of forced trafficking.
How soon should we expect the ramping up of workplace roundups?
We'll have to see.
Are we talking around Inauguration Day, even on Inauguration Day?
I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to forecast what we're doing and where we're doing it, but you can count on worksite enforcement coming back.
Do you plan to prosecute public officials who don't help you?
What I would say is, sanctuary cities don't want to help us, that's fine. I think it's wrong, but that's fine, because I would think any elected official would want to remove public safety threats from the communities. But there's a line they can't cross. Now, I've heard things saying we're going to put roadblocks up and not allow you in the city. Well, that's a clear violation of federal law. If you don't want to help us, then don't help us. We're going to do it anyways. You're not going to lock us out of your city. We're going to do this job.
Will there be collateral arrests?
Yes.
So, for example, if you go after a immigrant who has a criminal record, you find him at home, his wife is there. She does not have a criminal record. Does she get arrested?
Is she illegal in the United States?
If she's undocumented, does she get arrested too?
Yes. She'll be processed, and we'll let the immigration judge decide what happens to her. They all have the right to see an immigration judge.
Grandma, for example, does she get arrested as well?
She in the country legally?
Yes.
Then she'll be put in front of an immigration judge too. It's not okay to be in this country illegally. It's not okay to violate laws and cross that border. It's going to be based on the specifics of each case and each person we encounter.
Discretion for each ICE agent. That gives a lot of power to each ICE agent.
Yes. Shouldn't they have that power? I mean, you give an officer the ability to take a life if he has to. We should give him the discretion on does this arrest serve the mission, and does this arrest serve the nation?
Should birthright citizenship come to an end?
I'll leave that up to the president to make that decision.
But what's your opinion? Do you think it should?
I'll say this: birthright citizenship is a major driver of illegal immigration. And that's what the whole controversy is about right now, right? If you come in the country legally, which is a crime, you get ordered, you lose your hearing, the federal judge says you must go home, or you don't show up in court and you get what they call an order in absentia, order removed, and have a U.S. citizen child, people think they should be immune. The law means nothing to you now because you knew you're in the country legally. You chose to have an illegal alien. You chose to have a U.S. citizen child, knowing you're in the country legally, knowing you were ordered deported, and you went and made that decision. That's on you.
What would you say to potentially Trump supporters, Trump voters, farmers, ranchers who employ undocumented immigrants as part of their industry? Should they be worried that their workforce is going to leave?
I would tell you, wait and see what we do with worksite enforcement before you make that judgment. There's a legal way to bring in agricultural workers in this country. If it needs to be expanded, if the Department of Labor can say that we don't have the workforce to do it, then it's up to Congress to make a fix. But right now, we're going to force the law as is.
Will mass deportation hurt the economy?
I think mass deportation and results of mass deportation are more important to this country than anything. I don't put a price on Laken Riley's life. I don't put a price on all these young women who have been raped and murdered. I don't put a price on our national security. What price do you put on national security? So I think the national security of this nation, we can't afford another 9/11. We can't keep affording American citizens dying at the hands of illegal aliens.
You have mentioned that there could be a hotline for people to call in to report undocumented immigrants in their communities.
It's one thing we're considering, yeah.
One thing you're considering. What would that look like?
That's what we're working on it now. What makes sense? That's still a fresh idea, working on it. But I want a place where American citizens can call and report. We need to make sure they have an outlet to help report child traffickers, forced labor traffickers. We want to give them an opportunity to be a part of the fix.
Do you plan to separate families?
Families, I've said it before. Families can be, if If a family needs to be deported, if members of the family needs to be deported, then that parent needs to make a decision. Again, having your citizen child shouldn't be an amnesty card. They put themselves in that position. So if there's an illegal alien parent wants to be, it's going to be deported, he has a U.S. citizen child, then he needs to make the decision as a parent. You put yourself in that position, so you can be a parent, the child go with you to your homeland, or the child can stay with a relative or another spouse. But again, I am not putting myself in that position. The president didn't they put themselves in that position. Having a U.S. citizen child does not give you immunity from this nation's laws.
Y'all, I told y'all, that hotline, if you look, I'm going to email out the hotline number to everybody at least once a week. So if you are not in my email list, go to therealmichix.com and go to the bottom of the page and sign up for my email list, because I am going to send this link out at least once a week. Every live I have after the 20th, as soon as they put this hotline number out, boy, I'm going to put it at the bottom of all of my lives. Don't worry. If you don't know the number, I'm going to let you know what it is. You ain't even got to worry. I got you covered. I'm going to have the number for everybody, okay? So y'all just like, subscribe, and stay tuned, because I'm going to make sure everybody know what the hotline number is, all right? Because y'all got to go. I'm going to call that number. I'm going to put that shit in my phone as a contact, okay? It's going to be under, I see one of their asses. You got to go home. You know, something like that. Bye. You can't got to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here. I'm going to find some name, but I'm saving that shit in my contact list, because I'm damn sure going to use it. I'm going to make it a point to use that shit at least twice a week.